Hi everyone. Today I went to Ping Zhang and supervised the harvesting of three really big trees. We got 12 kilogram of fresh leaves, and now is the crucial time. I'm gonna cook them, so it's probably the most valuable batch of the year. So let's go. My wok is hot. The fire is strong. So let's do it. So this is quite a huge batch to cook. Typically, I like to weigh 8 to 9 kilo, and now I have to deal with maybe 11 kilogram of fresh leaves after the withering. It had a fairly short withering, only 3 hours, but I think it's the right point. And now I need to move fast because I don't want the tea to burn. So the start of the shaching is really crucial, because if I let it sit for a few seconds, then it will burn and you'll get that characteristic roasted note in the final tea. So let's keep us going. It's 10:36 here. Still quite early in the night. I don't have that many leaves to cook today. I've only made one batch. This is the second and most valuable one. And then I get the smaller trees from the same garden as this one. So you can get a feel for how the leaves cook by listening to the crickling sound. In a few minutes you won't hear it anymore, because now my wok started quite hot, maybe 300 degrees Celsius, and now it's going to point more toward 250, 200 to 250. I kept a strong fire because I want this tea to be cooked fairly quickly at the beginning. We'll see if mid-session it's necessary to take out the wood or not. Usually I try to put just enough wood in the wok, in the oven, for it to kind of die down naturally. So in most cases I don't need to touch the fire at all. We start with strong flames and finish on embers. But there's a pretty big piece of wood I put, so we'll see. It's important in this session to stay focused. And this is something that we can forget. We shouldn't get used, we shouldn't let ourselves being used to doing things, because once you say that you're used to doing things, you just forget about the focus. You forget to focus. You do it automatically. And while this might be okay for most of the batches, I really want to put as much attention as possible in this one. There's about $1,000 worth of leaves in this wok. You can see that the leaves are very shiny, which indicates that it has a lot of oils in it. And what happens when you brew it is you get some foam, because the oil will mix with the saponins, like the molecules that you can find in soap and which are naturally present in the tea. And so usually having foam on the first brew is a sign of good raw material quality. It means there's a lot of oil in the tea. And I got tea from this garden actually in 2017. Since then I haven't sourced, because they had other customers, or they would make the tea themselves. But today that auntie gave me a call and asked if I wanted to check on the trees. So I did a a short live stream on Instagram going from my home up in Ping Zhang in the ancient tea gardens, and I spent a couple of minutes looking for the tea pickers, and then I found them and watched them climbing in the trees and started picking. So they didn't pick much. I think only 2 of them were picking the big trees. This usually takes more time to harvest than the small trees. But of course the price for these leaves is much higher than for the small trees. And actually that's also what can explain to some extent the fact that Jingmai tea is relatively cheap compared to Monghai area, for example, because, for example, in Laobanzong area, Hokai, Laomane, Bakanoi, these villages really have huge trees. So such big trees are quite rare in Jingmai, and the leaves I have in this walk belong to a few of them. So I will just keep shuffling the leaves fast, but you see I don't open them up too much because I want the steam to build up. I want a fairly quick reduction, and at some point I think I will take out the wood to slowly decrease the wok temperature. And there are some foreign leaves here. Probably some pickers got in their basket from other trees. So it's been 5 minutes that I've started this shaching. It should take about 20 minutes. The strong phase being about 7 minutes, and then 13 minutes of polishing, you could say. Cook them more with steam, let them turn a bit yellow through chlorophyll degradation. You can hear now that the leaves are much quieter than they were 5 minutes ago, and now you can see they are shrinking. I hope this will make good tea. Typically the difference between big and small trees is you get a better huigan and a better body feel, better chachi in the big trees, often at the detriment of the more superficial things like fragrance or even like straight up mouth feel. So it's more a tea for the throat and the body usually, but we'll see about this one. Let me just open it up, loosen it a bit, and now I want to take the fire out, and I prefer to continue with embers. So I took the main piece out. So usually I choose to cook the most important batches early in the evening because I'm less tired and maybe more focused. Although sometimes I can be very focused late in the evening, but it's also a matter of stamina. I want to cook this tea fast, and it's quite a big batch. I couldn't process it into 2 different batches. My aunt asked me if I wanted to have a separate picking, so each of the big trees would be picked separately. But I said no, it's not necessary, because then you would get like 3 or 4 kilo of each tea, and it wouldn't be possible to process it like I do with a lot of steaming. So even this year, since it's a dry year, I feel that the leaves also tend to have a low water content, which means I reduce the weathering time, and I like to cook bigger batches to have more steam to play with. You see now, I just need to separate them a bit because I feel they are getting stuck in knots. So, and I don't know yet if I will release this tea as a unique batch or if I will mix it in our single trees production. I'll wait until we get the dry tea. So by tomorrow evening, I'll have a first taste, then maybe let it rest for a week and have a second tasting and decide if it's worth it to offer it as a loose Mao Cha or if I'd rather include it in our Jingmai single trees cake, which is a blend of many single tree batches that we make over this season. I think so far we've made about 10 kilogram of single trees from 3 different gardens. So the name of this garden is Mai Sao Kan. It's maybe a garden you've never heard before because I haven't harvested it since, I haven't used the leaves since 2017. But I've processed quite a lot of their small trees there over the last couple of days, and I think it tastes really good. It has a natural, a really good body feel. It doesn't bring in much aroma, but the sessions are very enjoyable for the huigan and the texture in the mouth. So, and that's a garden I'm looking forward to tasting furthermore. So maybe I will also press some of the material as a single garden cake, and then I will blend part of it into our Jingmai Gulan. So you see, at this point, it's crucial to manage the steam well. You don't want the tea to be overly steamed. Now I can feel the wok temperature is decreasing, so I can slow down on the shuffling. And it's just a matter of keeping the right amount of steam inside the bulk. And now it gets much more quiet. And I'd say we have about 6 more minutes to go. Let's just give it a slow finish. I can see it turning yellow. And it's also getting a bit dry, so I will slow down on the shuffling and make a ball. And just turn that ball this way so as not to let too much steam off the batch. And now we can just slow down and just pay close attention to the sound of the leaves and the steam coming off. And just listen to the wok. The pitch of the wok when you shuffle the leaves. The pitch of the wok tells you how dry the leaves are. The drier the leaves, the higher the pitch, so it's a good indicator. You see, this is already starting to dry. Now we'll just open up again, loosen the leaves to avoid having too many knots. It's okay, there's still quite a good amount of moisture inside. And I don't want to cook that batch too dry. Cooking cooking dry would improve the fragrance, but it's not what we're looking for with this kind of tea. And by this time it's really not undercooked. If I took it out now, it would be fine. The stems wouldn't turn red. But there's a little extra sweetness I'd like to give to this tea. So that's why maybe I will keep it for 2 minutes more. No, it's good because we're having just embers, so it's just the finishing touch. And now the tea is not at risk of burning or anything. It's just about giving it that little extra, which I hope you'll be able to feel in the cup. Just a little bit more. I don't want to disturb it too much. You can see the change in color now. So first turning yellow stems, and also darker shades as the tea dries. So again, I don't want it to dry too much. And on my wok, I use very strong light in order to see the tea very clearly. So sometimes it looks like there's a lot of it looks like the leaves are a mess, but then when you put them in the dark, they look beautiful. And interestingly, you find all these different colors, but then when you brew the tea, they look quite homogeneous. So I'm not sure really what happens with all these Maillard reactions. Are they reversible maybe? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, that was a good cooking session. Now I will just straighten them for last time. So I just take like this, and you can see if I do it slowly, they all fall straight. So it's a way to separate them. Yeah, so I hope we will get good tea with this material. Is it worth the extra price? We'll see that. Yeah, they are perfect now. So thank you very much for watching, and see you later. Have a good night.